Hello, so yes, I'm Alexandra Spalato. I'm super happy to be here again in Park City in React Rally. I was here last year. It's my first time in the US and my first time in Utah. So for me, the US, it's Utah, and Park City is the city I know the best in the US. I come from Madrid, but I'm French, as you can hear by my accent. I'm super happy to be in this stage. I think it's the stage where the Sundance Festival happened. And in another life, I wanted to be an actress, so I never thought I would be there. So I'm a former developer relation engineer. I've been laid off 1 month ago, but I'm super happy because now I'm back into freelancing with AI, building AI applications and front end, and building SaaS applications with AI. So this is what we are going to talk about today. So consider it as episode 3 of AI, as the first episode with Chris and Cape, and second episode with Tejas. And today there will be, as Tejas say, some previously. So that will show you that really you have to dive into AI. So we are going to talk about AI for React developers, what are the opportunities, how you can learn it, and how you can innovate. So first, who of you is using AI for coding? Okay, and who is building AI applications? Okay, and who is not using AI at all? Okay, so. Okay, so, of course, with AI, you can code faster using tools like Copilot. Personally, I use Cursor. Who is using Cursor? Okay, so try Cursor. It's exactly like, it's a code editor, but AI first. So I use the paid version, and it's really worth it because their Copilot++ that make you the compilation, it anticipates what you are going to write. If you change a variable, it's changing it everywhere, and many other features. So really try it. It's really a game changer. So of course you can also use Claude artifacts that was shown in episode 1, and I have tried. There is Aider, which is quite powerful because it makes the commits for you and everything. But with this tool, you really need to prompt it and to ask what you want correctly. Otherwise, it gets stuck, like the Womba aspirator, and it's in the corner, and it don't move from there. And then you realize that going into code, you solve it sometimes faster. One thing I love also with these tools, it's especially with Cursor or Copilot tools, it's that allows me to stay in my code editor and stay in the flow. So often, I don't need to go often to Google or to Stack Overflow and then to risk to be distracted by other things. No, I stay in the editor and I chat with my Copilot with a friend that sometimes makes me crazy because it's stuck on the same mistake, but it's really nice. You can also use AI as your personal tutor. You have GPTs to teach you things, so it can give you exercises, teach you a new matter, Python, for example. You can use it to navigate documentation, ask it a question of exactly what you want to extract of this documentation, even ask it to explain you in your language or like you are 5 years old, to really understand the things. So you can do many things with AI to help you coding. But AI is not just a coding or learning assistant. So you can use AI to build applications that will anticipate user needs, that will automate tasks or create personalizations. And so if you are thinking to build your own SaaS application, this is the right way, and that's what I'm doing. Also, if you want to make a career shift, the opportunities are going to be huge. Who has checked Anthropic salaries after episode 2? Okay, so check it because it's really huge. So, so there is many opportunities. And believe it or not, as React developers, you have the right foundations to become AI engineers and take these opportunities. So what is the learning path to become an AI engineer? If you go to Google or even to ChatGPT, this is the answer. You need to learn mathematics, statistics, machine learning, deep learning, data handling, algorithms, big data. And so, yes, it's a bit overwhelming. So who thinks that, well, who was thinking before episode 2 that they was needing to learn all that and that it would be nice, but it's overwhelming? Who was thinking that? Okay. Good, not so much people at the end. So I have a good news that you have seen in episode 2. It's AI, so it's a big umbrella, and each part, machine learning, deep learning, is a subset of AI. And now we are in the generative AI phase, and that's the level where we need to interact. So, as seen previously, this screenshot from latent space that says that we are observing a once-in-a-generation shift right. So before the API, the machine learning researcher is like they were building a car, building the motor. And now we have the API. The API is like the drive that allows us to communicate with the motor. So now we can sit as AI engineer in this place and interact with these models through the API. It means that if you know how to make an API request, and I think who don't know how to do an API request? Everybody knows how to do that. So we are in the perfect place to become AI engineers. And as seen previously, it's tweet 2 from Andrew Karpathy that says that there will be much more AI engineers than machine learning engineers, and one can be quite successful in this role without ever training anything. So first, let's get the basics down. So AI is a big umbrella, as I say, where all the tech that makes machines act like they have a brain. So we have machine learning, which is a part of AI where computers learn from data. So instead of telling them every step, they get better at their task by themselves, learning from examples. So what you can do, this part is the motor part, the machine learning, the deep learning, the neural networks. So you can find plenty of videos. It's like you can take interest as your car works, but you don't need to put your hands inside. So take a culture about that to understand how models are trained, how all that works, to have a better understanding. So large language models, so that GPT, are special tools under machine learning focused on understanding and creating text. So they can generate new text and image based on their training. So by understanding these basics, it will help us to see what AI can do and give us a starting point for diving deeper. Then let's talk about working with APIs. So with APIs, we can ask AI system to do tasks for us. Some of the big names in this space are OpenAI with GPTs, Anthropic with Claude, Google with Gemini, Hugging Face with open source models. And so first, don't try to build big things. Try using these APIs to see what you can create or improve in your projects. It's not just about using them, but understanding how they can change the way we build software. So experimenting with these APIs can open up new possibilities for your projects and products. A good example is the small application that Chris and Cape in episode 1 have built. So you can begin by building small things for you or tools that you can use for yourself. For example, something to classify your email or to summarize YouTube videos. You know, you take a YouTube channel and summarize it to access faster to the knowledge. So build any small tool for yourself and to understand what you can do. And then I recommend really to explore the OpenAI documentation and understand how the assistance APIs work, as well as as function calling. So who knows what is function calling? Okay. So function calling allows you to connect LLMs with external tools. So depending on the user query, the model will call one tool or another. So if we have two tools, one for checking the weather and another one to send emails, if you say, oh, should I go hiking in Park City today? I will check the weather. You say, sorry, it's raining. So, if you ask to send an email, it will send an email. So this is also how agents are built. So agents seems like quite magical, but they are assistants with tools, and AI is intelligent enough to decide which tool to use. And sometimes these agents, if you give them too much freedom, can do mistakes. So you have to use that, but put boundaries to guide them. So next, to streamline your work, you can use the Vercel AI SDK, and I really love it. So with the Vercel AI SDK, it's compatible with Next, with Nux, with Svelte, with Solid. It has an unified API that standardizes the interaction with the various AI models, and so it minimizes the boilerplate code. It's compatible with Remix too, but not with React Server components. And yesterday, I was talking with Ryan Florence. He said to me, oh, but you can do that without React Server components. I'm talking about generative UI that you have seen in episode 2 and that I'm going to present again. And so if some of you fancy to build an open source repo for the Remix AI SDK, it would be super nice. I will use it. So now you need to understand RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. So who remember RAGs from episode 2? Okay, so you have been sleeping yesterday, most of you. So you really need this previously. So as seen previously, RAG, so large language models are trained on the whole web. But of course, for example, if you are building a customer support chat for your company, the model doesn't know about your company, so you need to augment it by data about your company. So, and then it will be retrieved, so retrieval, augmented, and it will generate, so generation. So this will allow the model to use this external information and to generate the answers. So let's see how this works. So first, this information needs to be broken in chunks because the models have a limited context. So they cannot search in the whole information. So depending on the question, they will find the corresponding chunk semantically similar. This means we can ask AI to find pieces of text that are not just similar in wording, but similar in meaning or context, and then it will apply it as context. Then this chunk will be transformed in embeddings, which involves converting the data in vectors, which are arrays of numbers that the machine can understand. Then these embeddings will be stored in a vector database, and the query will be also transformed in a vector and will search the database by semantic similarity in order to generate responses based on the most similar context. So in this schema, you can see how it works. So the user enters his query in the chat. The user query is sent to the embedder and stored in the vector database. Then the data source, the knowledge base, is also sent to the vector database. And this query, which is now a vector, will find the most similar context and from there generate the answer and with the large language model, and it will be sent to the user. So, is everybody now aware of RAGs? So now, if you build a real-world application, it will not be only a prompt to a large language model. You will need several tasks. Imagine you build an application to plan vacations. You will need to understand user preferences, to find destination, to check weather, to suggest travel options. So this is where orchestration frameworks like LangChain or Llama Index come into play. They help us to chain different tasks together, as well as methods to chunk, retrieve, embed, generate, and work with different LLMs. And you can use LangChain inside the Vercel SDK too. But myself, I have jumped into LangChain, being back and forth between Python, JavaScript, etc. And now I'm building a real application. I realize that the best way to build it is to, AI is a tool. It's just a tool that you use at the last moment. So you use APIs, you use algorithm to get the data that you need. Because at the end in AI, the most important is data. And then this data will be sent as input to AI, and AI will process it to generate new content or analyze it, and to provide an output. So always go from the output, what you need, find the data, treat this data as much as you can without AI, then use AI for the parts where you really need it. What I mean, it's often you don't need all these frameworks. With the APIs and the Vercel AI SDK, you can do already a lot of things. That's what I have learned by doing. So, there is also many other tools. Flowwise, for example, that is like a Langflow that we have seen in episode 2. It's a graphic user interface in top of LangChain. And you build your application like that, and then it provides you an API, and then you can build your front end with the data from this API. Langbase, it's a new application that has been released last month. You have a graphic user interface where you can create what is called pipes, which are AI primitives. So you build your prompt, your variables. You can also build a RAG there. And it provides you also an API that you can share, reuse, compose with it, and also monitor the use of token and your expenses, and deploy several versions. So this is a really nice one and very useful. Relevance AI, it's marketed as a no-code tool, but it's very developer-friendly because you can interface code blocks with JavaScript or Python. I have even been able to use my own NPM packages, so you can really build advanced things with these no-code or low-code tools, and they always provide an API, so you mix it with code, and it can help you to go faster, to prototype, etc. So there is many tools to explore. One thing that is very in demand are voice assistants. So basically, you can create agents that answer calls or make calls for people, for companies, and it's almost indistinguishable from human people. So there is a high demand for that. So one of the applications to build that is Vapi. And then you can also build front end with that. For example, these assistants can provide data, and this data can be analyzed in a dashboard. So I know many people that build this type of things, and they have nobody to build the front end. So there is a big gap between people from AI, people that come from machine learning, and front end. Because these people don't know front end, and most people in front end think that they can not learn AI. So that's why there is many opportunities. So really learn it. So now it's time for the demo that is also previously from episode 2, because it's a generative UI chat with the Vercel AI SDK and Next.js. So who didn't know about generative UI before episode 2? Okay. So thanks to React Server Components, we can create UI components that are rendered on the server and streamed to the client. They also allow for the use of server action, which are functions created on the server that can be called directly from the client. Because of this, large language model can generate and stream UI components from the server to the client. With generative UI, the model can return React components instead of just text components. So if somebody can build that for Remix, it would be awesome. And you have the repo here if you want to check the code. So now I show you the demo. Oops. So OK, I built this little chat, and here if I ask, I want to eat healthier, OK? So, OK, it's working. OK, blah, 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 etc. And would you like some healthy recipes or meal ideas to get you started? I said, yes, give me low-carb recipes. Because my name is Tejas and I love low-carb, especially meat. So with meat, look. OK, and look at this. We have these beautiful all data React components. We have here the ingredients. We can see the recipe, etc. I have not used RAG. I'm just calling recipes API here. And now let's say, OK, tell me a quote about food. OK, and here you see we have another React component, another layout, because here I'm calling a quote API, so it's another tool. So let's see quickly how it works, because time is running. But you have already seen this code in episode 2. So we have this create AI, and inside we have actions that are objects that define the action or methods available to the AI. Then we wrap our layout inside this AI. And then we have this function continue conversation. We have the history. Here with StreamUI, we choose the model. We have our messages. We have the text when we ask something that is not calling a tool. And we can see here that it also return a React component. And then we have the tools. Here we have get recipes. Description get recipes by query. And here in generate, we call a function fetch recipes, and we return our array of recipes as React components. Same thing for the quotes. We call here quote API with fetch quotes, and we return this component. So I really believe that is the future. You have here that yesterday. Imagine what you can do in e-commerce, in personalization, and coupling that with UX research and market research. I believe this is the future of the web. I believe that the web will become totally interactive. And this is front end. The people from AI don't know how to do that. So there is many things to do in this area. So if 2 episodes saying the same, I think it's a sign, so learn it. So in conclusion, let me go back to my slides. OK. So in conclusion, as React developers, you have the foundational skills to dive into AI, the syntax and problem solving you have developed in React are the perfect stepping stone to dive into AI technologies. So there are so many possibilities, whether it's enhancing your current project with smarter features, automatic complex tasks, or shifting into an AI-focused role. So the demand for AI engineers is growing, and your JavaScript skills give you a solid foundation. So don't wait. Start exploring AI today, combine it with your React expertise, and you find yourself at the cutting edge of technology, ready to innovate and create the next generation of applications. Remember, AI is not just for specialists, it's for developers like you who are ready to take the leap and lead in this exciting new era. So here are all the links that I talk about, and here you can get all my slides. You can find me on my website, in LinkedIn, in X, and you can find me outside if you have questions about AI or how to have a happy laid off, or simply talk with me because I'm a people person. Thank you.